So here's an example of a quadratic equation where we're asked to determine the nature of the roots. And we're given the equation 10x squared minus 13x minus 3 equals 0. So when they say determine the nature of the roots, they're not necessarily asking us to find them. They're just asking us to determine are they real? And if so, how many are there? So we want to identify first that it's equal to 0, which it is. And so now the value of a is always the number in front of the x squared, b, the number in front of the x, which in this case is negative 13, and c, the constant, which in this case is negative 3. So to find our discriminant, b squared minus 4ac, we're going to substitute those numbers in. Now be careful. Whenever you square a number, you must enclose that number in parentheses and then put the squaring outside. Otherwise, your calculator is going to give you a wrong answer. So I can just type this in from left to right as it is, and my calculator will tell me that that is equal to 289, if I did the arithmetic correctly in my head there. Now, 289 is a positive number. So when you have a positive number under the radical, you end up with two real solutions, a positive answer and a negative answer. So we have determined the nature of the roots by merely finding the value of b squared minus 4ac. But then we're asked to solve the equation, and now that means use the rest of the quadratic formula. So again, our quadratic formula is x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. We already know the discriminant. So we'll have negative b, which will be positive 13, because like we said in class today, negative just means opposite, plus or minus the square root of that discriminant, which is 289, all over 2 times a, which would be 2 times 10, or 20. So when I go to simplify this, I'll have 13 plus or minus 17, because that's what the square root of 289 is, all divided by 20. So to get my two solutions, I need to make sure first that I enclose my numerator in parentheses. And if I do 13 plus 17 enclosed in parentheses and divide by 20, I should get 1.5. If I do 13 minus 17 enclosed in parentheses and divide by 20, I should get negative 0.2. So we said there would be two real solutions, and there were. They are 1.5 and negative 2. Now in this example, we're asked to do the same thing, determine the nature of the roots and then solve the equation, but it is not equal to 0. So the first thing we have to do is get it equal to 0 by subtracting 8 from both sides. Once it's set equal to 0, identify the value of a and b and c. A is 3, the number in front of the x squared. B is 3, the number in front of the x. And c is negative 8, the constant. To determine the nature of the roots, we need to take b squared minus 4ac, our discriminant. 3 squared minus 4 times 3 times negative 8. If we just type that in from left to right as it is, that would be 105. Once again, it is a positive number, which means that we will have two real solutions. So that is determining the nature of the roots. Now, to solve the equation, we need to use the rest of the quadratic formula. So x equals negative b would be negative 3, plus or minus the square root of our discriminant, which is 105. All over 2 times a would be all over 6. Now in this case, 105 is not a perfect square. So this is an exact value for the solutions. If we want to estimate, get decimal approximates for those solutions, we would once again type in the -3 plus the square root of 105 in parentheses and divide by 6 to get one of them, and then do the same with the minus to get the decimal approximations of those two real solutions.